welcome to the Fruit Snacks Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Wardrop from Drop the Word Life Coaching. I am the T1D Moms Coach. I'm here to help you manage your mental and emotional health while managing your child's diabetes. 2 of my 5 kiddos have been diagnosed, and so I'm very familiar with your struggles, and I don't know where I'd be without these life coaching tools and the gospel of Jesus Christ to get me through the day and night. Thank you for joining me as we journey towards feeling less scared, sad, and stressed, and start feeling more calm, confident, and connected. Let's get started. Okay, friends, welcome back to the Fruit Snacks Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Wardrop. Thanks so much for listening. If you missed last week, you got to go listen to that one. We are talking about feeling less scared. So the first step to feel less of any emotion is to recognize that the emotion is not a problem and that it's okay to feel it. Isn't that ironic? So if you want to feel less scared, you need to accept that you feel scared. Okay. So we're accepting it. We're not resisting it. What you resist persists. We go into all of that last week. So now what we're going to talk about is literally how to feel less of it. The reason we're feeling it is because it's a message. All emotions are a message. Let me blow your mind again if you've never heard this phrase. If you're tired of me hearing it, too bad, because this is amazing. Do you know where feelings come from? Feeling scared is an emotion feeling, right? Where do feelings come from? I thought the feelings came from my baby crying. I thought the feelings came from my husband being annoying or not helping out. Or no, feelings do not come from something happening outside of us. Those are called circumstances. There's between the circumstance and the feeling, there's a line called a thought. So your feelings come from your thoughts. What? And where do your thoughts come from? Oh, that's a good question. Now that's a good question. So if you are feeling scared, it's because you're thinking something about something in the future that you're scared about, right? Our brain's purpose is to keep us safe. And if we have a child, our brain's purpose is to keep that child safe too. And once your child gets type 1 diabetes, they're no longer safe. They're in danger every second of every single day. So your brain is very scared all the time because you're always thinking thoughts that your brain is doing unconsciously because its job is to keep you and your child safe. And your child is not safe anymore. Your child is in danger. Okay, according to your brain. So what you need to do is manage your brain. We are going to be the boss of our brains, and we need to understand our nervous system in order to do that, because your nervous system actually hijacks your brain and you have no access to logical thought anymore because your body has gone into what they call fight or flight, which actually is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So there's 4 nervous system reactions that your body has gone into that we need to understand because we're trying to thought work our way out of a nervous system reaction. And that doesn't work because your brain has been hijacked. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I should have had my friend Leah Davidson come to be a guest on this episode. She is on the podcast somewhere, so go listen to that. Look up Leah Davidson. And or Bethany Lewis, the concussion coach. We've got fun episodes with both of them in the formerly known as the Believe You Are a Good Mom podcast. So that's the same podcast. You can search it right here. Anyway, from my understanding of the nervous system, we're always going to get my dumbed down version because this is how I think about it. Okay, so you're feeling scared because you're thinking a thought about the future. And then once you're scared, your brain is hijacked. So we no longer have access to those thoughts that we can change with logic. We can't thought work our way out of the panic that we feel when the Dexcom goes off in the middle of the night and just be like, I mean, we're trying to, I taught you to, you come up with a mantra, like something really complicated, like I am safe. And so you breathe, right? Breathing is the number 1 tool of processing an emotion in the heat of the moment. As in you're feeling scared. In the moment you feel scared, what you do is breathe and you just feel it. We talked about this last week. Because what that does is calms down your nervous system. The breathing calms your nervous system. It reminds your brain that you are safe. So there's either from the brain down, right? Like you have a thought causes a feeling. There's also from bottom up. So you're feeling something. Your nervous system has hijacked your brain. So we're going body up to the brain. right? So once you calm your body, it gives your brain the message that you're safe. Does that make sense? So breathing calms your body, and then your brain is like, oh, okay, we're not, there is no tiger in the room. We are safe. Okay. So it's kind of hard to thought work yourself um, into calming your nervous system because your nervous system has hijacked your brain. So your brain's offline and you're trying to use your brain to get it back online. Does that make sense? So you got to calm your body to give your brain the message that, yes, I've received your message. Yes, I know you think it's scary, but we are safe. Okay. I do a lot of this practice when I'm in the car because I have all sorts of PTSD from being in car accidents. And so my brain just instantly, as soon as I'm in the car, thinks that I'm not safe. So I have to do like body work. I'm doing thought work. I'm all over the place with all the different techniques and tools the whole time to get from A to B. It's pretty intense. And that's what we're doing all day long with diabetes in the house. There is a tiger in the house now. Like your nervous system has not been relaxed since the diagnosis. Have you noticed this? That's why you can't sleep. That's why you're so freaked out all day long. Okay. That's why you're constantly checking the Dexcom. Okay. We don't need to do that. We're going to learn how to feel less scared. So step one, don't resist it. It's okay. You feel scared. You have good reason for it. You're not crazy. You're a normal functioning human being. That's normal functioning brain and nervous system is doing exactly what they're supposed to do. So first step, acceptance, right? Well, first step, awareness. Now you understand what's going on and why you can't sleep at night. And now we're going to accept it. And then we're going to go into alignment, right? So let's get our nervous systems back online. Let's get aligned here, people. So this is how you do it. Yeah, ask Leah Davidson. Okay. But you got me instead. So you remind yourself, right, in this moment, everything's fine, right? When you have access to your thoughts again, you can remind yourself, I am safe. My child is safe in this moment, right? We shorten our lens. We talked about that last week. Everything is fine right in this moment. Okay. So we're reprogramming the nervous system by every single time the brain gets hijacked and we're in fight or flight to bring it back down to calm. Okay. So picture it like a graph. Like, you're used to looking at graphs, like on your Dexcom. Okay. So imagine your kid has, diabetes, right? And so they have this thing called a Dexcom, which is a continuous glucose monitor. So it may be a different brand, whatever you have. It gives you a read every 5 minutes of where their blood sugar is at. So imagine you have a little Dexcom for your nervous system. So every 5 minutes, it shows you where you're at. And the top, like where the blood sugar is high, on us, that is hyper aroused, right? And that is where fight is. Oh man, I wish I had some Leah Davidson notes in front of me right now. Anyway, the hyper aroused is your fight response, right? And then if you go low, like your low blood sugar, your low nervous system reaction is hypo. She calls it team hyper and team hypo. So cute. So when you're hypo, that's like the fawning, the freezing. What's the other one? Flight. So maybe flight is hyper. So if you're running or you're fighting, you're hyper aroused. If you're fawning or you're freezing, you're hypo aroused. So have you noticed this? That sometimes when the Dexcom goes off, you get like, panic mode, which we've talked about. And you're ready to fight, right? You're like all senses, spidey senses, everything is on board. We're ready to like tackle this obstacle. And after you've done that for so long, your nervous system is so tired of being hyper aroused that it drops into hypo. So you get into this, oh, what's the point? Oh, this is so old. I'm so tired of doing this. I'm so tired. I'm just so tired. Like I'm not sleeping at night because I'm hyper aroused all night long. So then all of a sudden you're sleeping all the time. You're hypo. It's still a nervous system response. It's a nervous system that's tired of being hyper aroused that now it's like shut off. And now you're down in the hypo zone. Okay. Is any of this making sense? So your nervous system is like exactly like managing your child's blood sugar. We want to stay in the middle, which just like your child's diabetes roller coaster, it's very hard to stay in the middle, right? And so acknowledging that that's how it goes. When you freak out every time your child's blood is high or low, then you're riding the roller coaster, right? If you can only be chill and happy in that middle zone, then your nervous system is on a crazy roller coaster. So the way to not ride your nervous system roller coaster is to not ride their diabetes blood sugar roller coaster. Does that make sense? So let it go high and let it go low without freaking out. So that's what we have to practice. Because if you're laughing at me and saying, yeah, that sounds nice, but easier said than done, that's what we do in coaching is we practice this. So in the heat of the moment, in all of the feeling work, we just do the body work. And then later, after the fact, you can come meet with your coach and we talk about what thoughts were creating those feelings and what thoughts you can feel instead. And we do some processing of emotion real time because it's all coming up again and all the things, right? To reprogram your nervous system to stay in that zone of safety in the middle. They call it the window of tolerance. I like this phrase a lot because, oh, good, I just want to tolerate this. But at this point, that's where we're at, right? We're not going to love and accept diabetes. We need to tolerate it, right? We need tolerance to the roller coaster. So we need to be able to just be chilled no matter what explosions are going on around us. I always picture that scene from that Star Wars where there's like the huge explosion behind him and he like brushes off his shoulder because he comes out unscathed. I'm like, that's how I want to be with my tantrums that are happening in my house at all times. Everyone's big emotions are exploding all the time and I just want to brush it off. Like I'm chill. I got this. That's my goal. I'm so far from that, but that's my goal. And the way to do it is to remind yourself, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. So this is what I'm working on with all tantrums right now. Like I have this very limiting belief that I can't handle the whining. And now I have this counter identity that I'm working on of I am safe. Okay. I can handle the whining because I am safe. The baby is freaking out, but I am safe. It's okay because literally it's a nervous system reaction to the whining. So you have legit nervous system reactions to your child's diabetes, and you have to remind yourself, I am safe. They are safe. In this moment, everything is fine. Right. And that is how you increase your window of tolerance. You can tolerate the highs and the lows a lot better. You're not going to freak out as much. And this happens over time, but not just time. Like people are like, don't worry, you'll get used to it. Things get better in the future. And like when you're in the thick of the early diagnosis, you don't want to hear that. You're like, yeah, well, it's terrible now. Somebody validate how terrible it is now. I will validate. Yes, it's terrible now. It's the worst. And as long as it's bad, your nervous system is getting programmed to be in hyper or hypo after a while state of arousal, right? Because it's terrible. And you're literally being traumatized by this diagnosis. And every single day that it's terrible, you continue to perpetuate that story in your brain and your body. And so when you're ready, it's time to like calm yourself down so that time will pass in the opposite way. Because if time just passes while you're just freaking out, then you perpetuate the freak out. Does that make sense? So we got to breathe. We got to calm our nervous systems and reprogram our nervous system to believe that we're safe. Okay. Does all that make sense? So that is what we're going to do. Let me see what other notes I have here. Okay. So we're reprogramming the nervous system, window of tolerance, hypo. There's a sweet spot in the middle, right? We're looking for that sweet spot. And then we're going to make that sweet spot bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. So speaking of riding the roller coaster yesterday, my daughter's nurse that texts us whenever, like, on a normal day, we get one text from the nurse, right? This is how many carbs she had for lunch. This is how much I dosed her, blah, blah, blah. Just like a quick little touch base. This is how I'm taking care of your daughter for her lunch, because she's eating lunch at school. And isn't that nice to have a nurse to dose her while she's at school? Sometimes we get lots of texts during the day. And yesterday was one of those days, especially if it's low. The nurses are very responsible and very on it. And so when they go low, they kind of freak out a little bit and they text us, oh no, she's low. I give her fruit snacks. I waited, They tell us like the time and how many carbs and how many, like what the blood sugar was at and how many minutes they waited and all the things. And we got all the updates and they are on the roller coaster because that's their job. And I really appreciate that they're on the roller coaster. I, on the other hand, cannot handle being on the roller coaster all day, every day. And while she's at school, that's my break from my nervous system to build that window of tolerance that I am safe. She is safe, And the opposite could be true. We're talking about feeling scared here. And there's a lot of mamas that are even more scared while their kid is at school because it's out of our control, right? And so that's the time we really need to work on building your window of tolerance when it's out of your control, because you literally don't have any control. So that's when your brain wants to really freak out. And so I choose to believe that the nurse is better at this than I am. She's in better hands now that she's at school than when I'm in charge, because her nurse is hyper focused on her. Like, that's why she's there. She's helping with some other kids too, which, yay, we love them too. And thank you. But yeah, when she's here, holy, me and all my distractions and all the other kids and all the things going on, it's like she's in great hands at school. So I get to stay home and try to relax, even though I have other kids, another diabetic at home, well, the ones at school for a couple hours during the week. They're both at school. And that's nice. Anyway, the point is, the nurse was totally riding the roller coaster yesterday. And it was really fun to be able to be like, I don't have to ride that roller coaster. Like, she's got this. Everybody's fine. It's fine. I can let her freak out and I don't have to. These are the kinds of thoughts that we need to continue to think so that they can turn into the automatic thoughts that we think just naturally, right? Because our brain on default is going to try to protect us. It's going to freak out. And we just have to understand that that's the way the brain works and not resist against it. But after a while, we can reprogram our brains. We can reprogram our nervous systems. And we literally can intentionally choose to feel how we want to feel on purpose. So we're not jumping to that because it doesn't work. We have to accept that we do feel scared. We do feel sad. We do feel stressed. These are legit feelings and we are feeling them. And if we resist against them, we will feel them more because they're like a toddler pulling on our shorts. That we have to receive the message that the emotions are giving us. And once we, I know I sound like a broken record here, but literally that's how you reprogram your brain. Is you have to mantra things over and over and over and over, right? Until there's a new neural pathway. And then we can believe that more than we believe the old neural pathway. And that one can just kind of get old and prune off, right? So don't ride the roller coaster. There's going to be ups and downs in their blood for the rest of their days. Don't worry about that part. The rest of their days, that lens is too long. That freaks us out. Just bring it back to today. Today, your child is fine. Today, you are fine. Remind yourself that you are safe. Remind yourself that your child is safe. Calm that nervous system so you don't have to go into hypo where you don't care anymore. Of course you care. You still want to care. And you can do this. You can do whatever the next step is. Don't get too hyped up about the right step. Just do what the next step is. Take care of the next thing. Stay present. Stay loving. You got this, mama. And if you need help, I seriously am here to help you. I know it can be scary to jump on a Zoom call with a complete stranger, but guess what? We're not strangers. I've been in your ear while you're taking a walk or taking a bath or dealing with diabetes. We're best friends, right? So I'd love to actually feel that way about you. If you've been listening to me and you feel like we're friends, then hello. Who are you? I want to be friends with you too. That is the funny thing about podcasting. It's a one-way conversation. So let's have a two-way conversation. Hop on a Zoom call with me. And bye, neighbors. There's lots of people going to work now, but it's lightening up outside, so maybe they can't see me as well. Okay. There's part 2 for you. If you want some hands-on application of how to do this. So all of this is theory, right? Teaching. And I like teaching. Oh, by the way, I'm working on a digital course finally. Yay! So you get lots of me teaching, blah, 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 blah. And I'm cutting out all the coaching that comes with it. So I'm making the digital course out of the T1D Mom support group calls that I did last year. So I tried to get a support group call going, but I didn't really advertise it enough, spread the word enough. So I showed up every Tuesday, and if there was somebody on the call, then I've cut out that part because I don't have the permission from them to be part of my digital course. And so the coaching is really meets where the rubber meets the road, like you can listen to this podcast for teaching, which it'll still be fun. The digital course, all the teaching in there is really fun. There's really good stuff, but really like the application to your own life to really get the traction, to get the benefit of the teaching, the coaching is the bridge to get there. So let me help you actually apply all these concepts that sound kind of interesting. Maybe they sound nice. Maybe they sound completely unbelievable. Maybe they sound like blah, blah, blah. Quit saying the same thing over and over. I want something new. No. This is what you need. You need to actually do it. And I'm calling myself out here because I love to listen to me some podcasts and I do not love to apply what I'm learning. So I do little bits here and there, but really the coaching is where the rubber meets the road. So I'll meet you there on Zoom. And if you're not quite ready for that, there's still much more content on my website. So go to dropthewar.com/T1D for the specific T1D mom stuff. You can find a link just at Drop the War. And when you're ready, I'm here on Zoom, ready to chat with you. So podcasting is fun, but having a chat with a real person is way more fun. Okay. I will see you there. Thanks for listening. Make sure you give it a 5-star rating so that more T1D mamas can find it. Okay. Love you. Bye. Hey, T1D moms. Was that episode helpful? I put together a free video for you with my top 3 brain hacks for T1D moms. Check it out at dropthewar.com/top3. Having a child with diabetes is hard enough. Let's not make it any harder with the way we're thinking about it all. Get my free top 3 brain hacks for T1D moms video at dropthewar.com/top3. See you there. Hello, my sweet T1D parent friend. The next time you catch yourself thinking that you can't do this anymore, redirect your brain to Philippians 4:13 and remind yourself that you can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you. As your life coach, I'm here to be a conduit to help you get your brain and body aligned in order for your spirit to clearly communicate with His Spirit to become your own diabetes parenting expert. Go to dropthewar.com/appointments for your complimentary coaching session, and let's do this thing.